I still fail many times today to speak up for myself sometimes, but I am working on it. There has been a couple times when I've needed to speak up for myself and I've just done it right away. But there's sometimes when I just genuinely can't speak up and I can't. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jazz. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. If you read the title, you already know that today's video is for the ladies, or women as I should say, and we're just gonna be talking about the basic habits to going from being a girl to a woman. There would be some women who would think like, oh, like I'm at that age already, so I already know the basic like woman habits or whatever. But just because you're at that age doesn't mean that you're a grown woman. You can still be childish as ever, like me. We're working on it, you know? We're working on it. So for starters, we're gonna go with self-discipline, and I feel like self-discipline is very important. I feel like when you're younger, like a child or whatever, you want everything. Like you want the money, you want the dreams, you want the aspirations, you want it all, right? But when you get older, you have to realize that there's some things that you can and cannot have. You can't always have that dream car you want. You can't always have this. You have to work for it. You have to put in the work for it, right? If you say, oh, I want to change my body, you have to be disciplined enough to not eat certain foods, to get up at a certain time to go to the gym. You have to be disciplined enough to do these things to get the body that you want. A mature individual like y'all would understand that in order for you to do certain things, you have to cut out certain things, and you might have to do things that you necessarily won't want to do, but in order to get there, you're gonna have to do it, right? Or a person who has that mature mindset will understand that if they want to see better for themselves, they have to do things right now that they might not want to do, but it will better them in the future. And the best way to start this now is through self-discipline. The longer it takes you to develop this habit, I feel like the longer it would take you to achieve your dreams or your aspirations or anything that you have that you want to do successfully in life. With that being said, we could go on to the next habit, which is you need to learn the right time to speak up, to defend yourself, and when to stay quiet. So with the speaking up part, I still need to work on this myself, but I feel like a lot of people end up growing up living a life that like they know they never wanted to live because with the speaking up part, a lot of people tend to grow up living a life that they never wanted to because they failed to speak up or say something about it when it was in that right time. It can be something so small as like, even if you're at work and you didn't like something that they did, or if you're at school and you didn't like something that they did to you or something that was done in there, you should not just let it slide like I would have done. You should actually go and speak up about it and get your way and not continue on with that same lifestyle. If you wait too long to speak up about it, it's gonna come to a point where when you actually say something about it, nobody's gonna care or nobody's gonna like put any effort into changing themselves for you. If you're with a loved one and they say something that you don't like or you don't agree with, speak up and say something about it. Don't let it take over you and like you just stick with it and you just go on about your life and live that life that you know you don't want to live. Be at least confident in yourself enough to defend yourself, for instance, by saying, hey, I don't like this, or I don't want to do this, or like I don't feel comfortable doing this. You can't just let it slide and just continue on living like that, because then you're going to be stuck in that same childish mentality, and that's not what we're going for. What I failed to do, what most women fail to do was defend themselves. And what I realized is that most females don't want to defend themselves because people take it the wrong way and they'll be like, oh, well, she's stuck up and she's rude and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But then I feel like when men defend themselves, like they feel like, oh, they know how to put their foot down and stuff like that, but that's really not the case. Said we're gonna go to our next habit, which is picking your friends. actually a very important topic, and it's actually not talked about a lot of the times, and I think now at this point in my life, I feel like it's very important to know what friends to have and which friends to accompany yourself with at certain times. When I say picking your friends, I mean like every single friend that you have in your life is not for every single thing in your life. At times it can get a little emotional because you'll think like, oh, I want this friend to be in my life forever. I want them to do this with me and everything in my whole life, but like it can't always be that way, and that's okay. Younger and you have like a specific friend group or just a specific friend in general, you think like, oh, when I get older we're gonna do this together, we're gonna do that together when we get older. But then as you get older, you realize that friendship is just slowly diminishing, or like they're just not in your life as much anymore. And then you realize that, oh, like this didn't pan out the way that you wished it would. Sometimes it can hurt to like categorize your friends or pick which friends you want to do this and that with. But at the end of the day, if we're not meant to be close or do certain things together, that's okay. Because I feel like at the end of the day, we all grow up, we all don't want to do the same thing in life, and you can't expect these same people to go along with you and want to do the same thing that they want to do in life and that you want to do in life too. At the end of the day, it's best to categorize your friends as far as intimacy, relationship, as far as how much you trust them, and so forth. To our other habit, which is knowing when to separate yourself from the rest, or knowing what separates you from the rest of other people. Women grow up not knowing what is truly for them or what's truly right for them. I feel like at times it's usually easier for women to just go along with what everybody else is doing, even though you might not want to do it, but you're just doing it just to fit in. A part of maturity or growing up is learning what separates you from everybody else and what makes you an individual as a woman. I feel like a lot of people are afraid to go in a different direction than everybody else in their life because they're just scared of what other people might think of them. But you have to have that mentality in your life to choose what you want to do rather than live the life that you don't want to do, because you can't let other people's opinions affect you in your own life. And a lot of women are also, well, not women, I want to specifically say women, but a lot of people in general are always scared to try new things, such as even something as simple as trying a new hairstyle or trying new food or something like that. Because of how they've grown up, or just in general, they're just scared to try new stuff. Growing up into that grown women kind of comes into this part, because when you try new things, it's showing that you matter and you're becoming an individual, and you're realizing that you're important and you're different from everybody else. It's best to grow out of that same, sticking with the same stuff and try new things to learn more stuff about yourself. With that being said, we could go on to our last habit, which is learning to do things alone. A lot of the time, most women don't see themselves as an individual. They tend to see themselves as a group. When you see yourself as a group, you kind of just do whatever the group does, and you're just including yourself in it. But if you learn to do things alone, you can realize what makes you different as a person. When I say doing things alone, I don't mean simple stuff such as going to the grocery store to pick up a few things, going to the mall, or little small stuff. It means you're intentionally doing stuff alone, and you're not just going somewhere and you just be like, oh, I just didn't invite somebody this time. No, you're going intentionally by yourself. Things on your own, it can show how you are as an individual. Sometimes you come to a point where you rely too much on your relationship with your friends because you're so afraid of being alone. Relationship wise, it's sad to say, but there are many women who are so afraid of being alone that they will stay in a toxic relationship or just stay in that toxic environment because they're just genuinely scared of being alone. I feel like that they wouldn't have any importance if they're alone because they're not being valued by someone else. It's a very imperative thing to just spend time by yourself, get to know yourself better, because then you realize I didn't need this person to be there with me, or I didn't need somebody to be there with me. You could just be doing stuff on your own and get to know yourself better as a person. Being said, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all were able to get some pointers out of that, and I hope you're able to figure out ways to mature yourself. And with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See my description below for more ways to find me, and stay tuned for more.